On April 14th, 2018, the UFC is headed to Glendale, Arizona, and the fight card is being broadcast free on Big Fox. My name's Flying Brian J, and what I'm doing here is trying to tell you my top 3 fights that I think you should watch at UFC on Fox 29. This week I'm going to start at number 1 and work my way down to number 3 and possibly an honorable mention spot. Obviously, in my opinion, and I think that you'll agree, the number 1 fight to look forward to this weekend is the main event of UFC on Fox 29 between Dustin the Diamond Poirier and Justin the Highlight Gaethje. Poirier is a guy who has been around for a long time, and every single one of his fights is dazzling. They're super exciting. He's coming off of a TKO shellacking victory over Anthony Pettis. Before that, I thought he was on his way to TKOing or finishing Eddie Alvarez before Eddie Alvarez hit him with an illegal knee. He's got spinning techniques, he's got swagger, he's got a lot of knockouts on his ledger, and he also has a pretty damn good ground game. On the other side, Justin the Highlight Gaethje lives up to his moniker, and in his UFC career, he's only had 2 fights. He's 1-1. He's coming off of a loss to Eddie Alvarez in a fight that was absolutely astounding. Jaw-dropping action from the start of the fight until, well, Eddie Alvarez finished Gaethje. But in his UFC career, Gaethje lands 9.5 strikes per minute. Holy effing what? Yeah, Poirier lands about 5 and Gaethje almost doubles up on him with 9.5 strikes per minute. He's a guy that's going to come forward a lot. He's an inside low kicking, back flipping off the cage, swagger having, honest, brutally honest guy who he says his style will someday get him knocked out. That happened. He's must-watch television even back when he was competing in the WSOF on NBC Sports. We put these 2 lightweights in the octagon at the same time, and gosh darn it, there's no way it's not going to be exciting. Number 2 this week, I'm going to go with more of a fighter to watch and not necessarily the matchup. Israel Adesanya, the last style bender, is going to fight Marvin, the Italian Dream, Vettori. When I think of the Italian Dream, to me, that's a big bowl of fettuccine alfredo with maybe some chicken and broccoli in it. But nonetheless, Vettori is a guy who, he's game. He's a really tough guy. He's never been finished via KO or TKO in his entire mixed martial arts career. All of his losses have gone to a decision. We think of him as a guy that has a lot of durability on the feet, but he's a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The majority of his victories are via submission, and why that's important here is because his opponent, Israel Adesanya, has 50 professional kickboxing victories, and he is really dynamic on the feet. Think of Anderson Silva in his prime and then add a layer of dynamism to that. Israel Adesanya is a highlight in and of himself. When he fights Vettori, I'm thinking that Vettori is going to try to get this fight to the ground, and if he can't do that early, we're going to see some highlight level, jaw-dropping once again action that Israel Adesanya might get a finish against Vettori. If you don't know the name already, Adesanya, you're going to know it by the end of this fight card. Number 3 is the co-main event of the evening. Even though I think Carlos Condit is lost battalion, he'd rather be making coffee or whatever than competing in mixed martial arts, but he's really exciting to watch despite his record being like 50-50 in his UFC career. He's got really dynamic striking despite having very little takedown defense. He's a household name. He's got a really fun nickname, the Natural Born Killer. He's got a short notice replacement opponent here in the Brazilian Cowboy, Alex Oliveira. Oliveira is coming off of a fight of the night against Yancy Medeiros, where he lost, where portions he was winning, portions he was losing. It was back and forth all over the place. He showed a lot of durability, but he tired out quickly. I think he's going to come in and try to wrestle Carlos Condit, but if he doesn't, if this thing takes place on the feet, we're in for a real treat. And I promised you I might have an honorable mention spot, and that goes to Tim the Barbarian Bosch against Cara de Sapo, Shoeface Antonio Carlos Jr. Carlos Jr. has really slick jiu-jitsu. For a huge guy, he flows well. He's got solid technique. You could just listen to somebody like Luke Thomas talk about how flowy and how dynamic and really seasoned in the ground game he is. But he tires out kind of quickly, and on the feet, he is rather slow and lumbered. Tim Bosch, if he doesn't get taken out early by that dynamic jiu-jitsu of Cara de Sapo, I think he's going to knock him out. And that's just a fun dynamic there. Are we going to see Tim Bosch continue his streak of knockout victories, or are we going to see a slick submission I don't know which one it is going to be, but I'm super excited to watch this card. There are plenty of other fantastic matchups that are going to go down on April the 14th. If your top fight to watch wasn't in my top 3 or 4, please tell me about it in the comment section down below. Give the video a couple of thumbs up. I'll see you guys on my next one. Namaste.